Hello and welcome to Amari Solutions, where the best solutions in math are found. My name is Emmanuel Sikwese and I'll be taking you in mathematics for today. So we are going to do a mathematics past paper. Specifically, this is actually grade 9, 2022 in Tenno. Let's move on to our first question in section A, which is actually saying evaluate. Evaluate 3 squared plus 2 to the power 3. So now for us to evaluate this question, the first thing that we are going to do is actually expand these powers. In other words, 3 to the power 2 is the same as saying 3 multiplied by 3 plus 2 to the power 3 is the same as saying 2 multiplied by 2 again multiplied by 2. So now 3 multiplied by 3 is actually 9. Then 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 is actually 8. So now when you add 9 plus 8, you're actually going to get 17. So meaning that in our first question of section A, our final answer there, according to our past paper, was actually D, which is in this case is 17. Then now we move on to the next question, which is the second question. The second question is actually saying which of the following is a rational number. Which of the following is a rational number? We have A, the square root of 10. We have B, the square root of 9. We have C, the square root of 8, and then lastly but not the least, we have D, the square root of 6. So which of these numbers is a rational number? So what you need to understand is that most of the rational numbers, they always have a perfect square. So now if you try to see, the square root of 10 is actually an imperfect square, so 10 is not the answer. The square root of 8 is also an imperfect square. The square root of 6 is also an imperfect square. So meaning that A, C, and D, they're actually disqualified, and the only possible answer that we are remaining with is actually the square root of 9. The square root of 9 there is 3. So meaning that our answer for question 2 was actually B. Just like that. Just like that. And then now we move on to the next question, which is in this case is question 3. Question 3 is saying, can you round off 764.5 to the nearest 10? 764.5 to the nearest 10. So now the numbers after the point, they always represent tenths, hundredths, and thousands, and so on. Then the numbers before the point, they always represent ones. The other one represent tens, and then lastly but not the least, the other one represent hundreds, just like that. So now the question is saying round it off to the nearest tenth. So the number that is representing 10 here, it is actually 6. So now what you're going to do when you round off this number, you're going to round it off to 1. Remember, when you are rounding off numbers, any number that is greater than or equal to 5 can actually be rounded off to 1, and then any number that is less than 5 can actually be rounded off to what? To 0 there. So now in this case, if you round off 6, it will actually give you 1, and then that 1 you're going to add it to the next number that is actually in front of 6. So the number that is in front of 6 here, it is actually 7. So if 6 is rounded off to 1, then you add the 1 to 7, you're going to get 8. Now the rest of the numbers are actually going to be zeros. So this will be 800.00, just like that. 800.0, and that will be your final answer, of which in accordance to our question here, which is question 3, our final answer there was supposed to be D. That is your final answer. And then now we move on to our fourth question. The fourth question is actually saying factorize completely. Factorize completely. 8, listen to this, 8px to the power 3 plus 4px plus 4 squared x there. So you see, 8px to the power 3 plus 4 to the power 2x. Now if you're factorizing, remember that you're always looking for the common number. So now the common number in this expression that we have been given here, it is actually 4. The number that can go into 8 and 4 without leaving a remainder is 4. So now there are other things that are common between these terms, which in this case are the variables. So we have p, which is common, and we also have x. So it means that 4px was the common number there. So now if you actually divide 8px to the power 3 divided by 4px there, you're actually going to get 2x squared plus then now 4p squared x divided by 4px, you're actually going to get a p just like that. So meaning that now if you're factorizing completely, you need to make sure that the terms that are going to be left in the brackets there, they do not have any common number or variable apart from 1 itself. So now this is our final answer. That is the factorization of our answer, of which in accordance to our question here, it was actually C. C was the answer for question 4. We move on to question 5. Question 5 is saying, how many faces has a square pyramid? How many faces has a square pyramid? So how many faces has a square pyramid? So you have noted this. They have said a square. A square. How many sides does a square have? So a square has 4 sides. So now if you find a pyramid that is actually made out of the square base, it has a square as the base of the pyramid, it means that that pyramid of yours is actually going to have 4 sides just like that. So now how many faces has a square pyramid? So the number of faces is actually equal to the number of sides. So if the square has 4 sides, it means that the pyramid is going to have 4 faces, of which our answer there was actually C, which is in this case is 4 faces of a pyramid there. Then now question 6. Question 6. Question 6 is saying, given that the mother set E is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and A, set A is equals to 1, 3, 5, 6, and lastly but not the least, we have set B, which is actually given by 2, 4, 6, 8. The question is saying, can you list A intersection B complement? So for us to list A intersection B complement, we need to have the set that is representing B complement. So remember, the complement, it means the members that were not actually found in B. So now B complement will be listed as follows. As you can see, the numbers that are in set B is 2, 4, 6, and 8. So now for us to list B complement, we're going to write numbers that were not found in set B. So now let's remove 2, 4, 6, and 8 from the mother set. Then the numbers that we are remaining with is 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. These are the numbers that we are remaining with. So as you can see, these are the numbers that were not found in set what? In set B. So meaning that that is B complement there. So now the question says list A intersection B complement. So meaning that A intersection B complement, intersection, it means that the members that are actually common in set A and the members that are common in set B complement. So the members that are common in set A and set B complement, we have 1, as you can see, 1 is found in B complement. We have 3 is also found in B complement. We have 5 is also found in actually B complement. Then do we have a 6 in B complement? No. Do we have a 7 in A? No. Do we have a 9 in A? We don't have. So meaning that this is actually the intersection of A and the B complement. So this is your answer, of which in accordance to our multiple choice, our answer there was actually C. We move on to the next question. Question 7 is actually saying A netballer scored the following number of goals in 9 games. A netballer scored the following numbers in 9 games. We have 7, 10, 8, 6, 4, 10, 6, another 10, and lastly but not the least, we also have 7 there. So now, the question is saying again, a netballer scored the following number of goals in 9 games. These are the number of goals this netballer actually scored. And then now the question is actually saying, what was the model score of this netballer? So now what you need to understand is that when you talk about mode, we are actually talking about the number that is appearing more times in the scores that we are given in this case, or the number that is appearing more than twice. In this case, if you try to see, we have 7 and we have another 7 there. So 7 is appearing 2 times. We have 8, which is appearing 1 time. We have 4 also appearing 1 time. Then lastly, we have 6, and we also have 6 there, of which 6 is also appearing 2 times there. So now the only number in accordance to this case which is appearing more times than the other is actually 10, because 10 is appearing 1, 2, 3. So 10 is actually appearing 3 times in this score. So this means that 10 was our mode score. The reason being is because it was appearing more times than these other numbers. In other words, a mode is actually the number that has the highest frequency in this case. So it means that 10 in this case has the highest frequency. And then if you read your past paper there, you can see that our final answer there on the multiple choice, it was actually A. So that's just the way it is, and that's just the way it will always be. We move on to the next question. Question 8. Question 8 is simple. We move on to the next question. We have question 8. Which of the following is correct order of a computer operation? Which of the following is the correct order of a computer operation? So we have A there, input, then we have output, lastly we have process. Input, output, process. Then B is saying input, process, then we have output at the end. Then question option C is saying output, and we have process. Then lastly but not the least, we have input. And then D is saying we have process as the first step. So input is our next step. Then lastly, we have output. So I'll read the question again, which is saying, which of the following scores, which of the following information, meaning this information that has been given, is actually the correct order of a computer operation? So now, when you are operating a computer, for example, this phone of mine, for me to operate this phone of mine, the first thing is that I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm going to actually enter my pattern there. So meaning that what I am doing right now, I'm inputting. So the first step that you're going to do in computer operation is to input, whereby you need to enter the things that you want your computer to do. Then the second thing that the phone is going to do is actually process. If the pattern in this case is wrong, then it will process it to be incorrect pattern. So when you input the pattern, it's going to process it. Then now when the processing is done, there is going to be an output at the end of it, meaning the answer or that you are going to get at the end of operating a computer. So now every time whenever you are operating a computer, the first thing is to enter. When you enter, that is what the input is applying there. Enter the things that you want to enter in the computer, then the computer will process them. And then the output are going to be the results that you're going to get at the end of it. So meaning that in this question 8, our final answer there, it was actually B, because that is the only possible answer there. And then now we move on to question 9. All right, question 9. Evaluate again. Evaluate -3 multiplied by -2. Evaluate -3 multiplied by -2. So this one is actually simple. The first thing that you are going to do is multiply the signs. You say negative times negative, it will actually give you a positive. Then 3 times 2, meaning that 3 comes 2 times, is actually going to give us a 6 there. So meaning that our final answer there, it was actually positive 6. And then in accordance to our question, our answer there was D. And now, one of my favorite questions in this past paper is angles. I love angles because at some point, they always challenge me to think a little bit, or to think more than thinking at some point. So now, the next question is saying, in the following diagram, so this is the diagram that we have been given. In the following diagram, we have PR, which is parallel to QT. PR is actually parallel to QT. Then SPR is 40 degrees. And then SQT is 30 degrees. Now, the question is saying, find the angle PSQ. Find the angle PSQ. So now, if this guy is a parallel, it means that some of the angles will actually be the same. So now, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to draw a line connecting P and Q. I'm going to draw a straight line connecting P and Q. I'll use my red marker here so that you clearly see it. Connecting a line that is drawing a line that is connecting P and Q there. So as you can see, this is a straight line. So now, if this is a straight line, it means that RPQ is actually 90 degrees because this line is perpendicular to PR. PQ is perpendicular to PR. So it means that if this is your 90 degrees, the whole angle here is 90 degrees. You have been given half of the angle, which in this case they have given us 40 degrees. So for us to find this angle, we are going to say 90 minus 40, of which you are going to get 50 as your answer there. Then now the same thing is going to happen this side. PQ is perpendicular to QT, meaning that there is a 90 degrees angle there. Then now what we are going to do is we are going to subtract 30 from 90, of which we are going to get a 60 degrees angle there. Then now the question said, can you find PSQ? So for us to find PSQ, and then this is a triangle that has been formed, we are going to add 50 plus 60 plus this angle here, which will be labeled as X. Then all these numbers will actually be equated to 180 degrees because angles in a triangle, they add up to 180 degrees. So X plus 50 plus 60 is equals to 180 degrees. Then 50 plus 60, it is going to give us 110 degrees, which is equals to 180 degrees. Then now correction of like tens. X is equals to 180 degrees minus 110 degrees, of which your final answer there is going to be 70 degrees. So you're going to say, therefore, PSQ is equals to 70 degrees. PSQ is equals to 70 degrees. There are many ways in which you can solve this question. You still end up with the same answer, which in this case will still be 70 degrees. So that is the end of our mod portrait session. So